This is a reminder to take your medicine. But anyway, I want to talk about what it's like to be a fat person grieving the idea of a thin version of you. So trigger warning, I'm going to be talking about fat phobia, eating disorders, and maybe some other stuff. But anyway, as fat people, we are sold this narrative that we are not complete people. To the rest of the world, we are a before picture. We are an inconvenience. We are desexualized and, for fat women especially, defeminized. We are a thin person trapped in a fat body. We are constantly sold this narrative that we are in limbo. I mean, think about it. How many movies or TV shows or books have you seen or read that revolved around a character losing weight? People even refer to weight loss as a journey. When fat people are talking about fighting for basic rights and respect, we're told that if we don't like it, to just lose weight. Because our personhood, our lives, our personalities, our passions aren't relevant to society unless we are thin or actively trying to become thin. I remember once in treatment for my eating disorder, we did this super traumatic activity where we had to write down a long list of things we wanted to do, achieve, or accomplish in our lifetimes. And then the group leader said, now cross out all of the activities that would require you to lose weight. And for me, that was quite a few. She was trying to make the point to people that you don't have to lose weight to achieve your goals. And for thin people that aren't gatekept from society because of their weight, that's true. But it didn't occur to this thin therapist that there might be a fat person in the room with a different lived experience. I did that activity 3 years ago and I still think about it because I'm always reminding myself that the things that I'm not allowed to do or don't have access to because of my fatness are not my fault. I am not responsible for the ways other people treat me and how they gatekeep me from simple parts of life. I don't know a single fat person who hasn't thought, I'll do or wear that thing once I'm thin. Because we are taught that we are a before photo, that we cannot be authentically fat. Because according to them, deep down, there's a thin person just fighting to get out. I feel like our society pushes me to be one of two things. I can either be constantly happy and positive about my body, or I can hate myself and try to lose weight. But I am a whole, complete person. I am allowed to have conflicting emotions. I can respect and nourish my body and hold anger and resentment towards how others treat me. And I think that anger is an important part of my self-respect because it means I'm no longer blaming my body for just existing.
Pull up in it. Bro, this shit fucking hurt. It always hurts me when I see a black person being fat phobic. It just crushes me. Especially because one of the origins of fat phobia was literally racism. Prior to the Atlantic slave trade, Europeans actually found plushy, chubby to fat women extremely desirable and as a sign of health, whereas people who were thinner were sick and weird, specifically ugly. But during the Atlantic slave trade, many Europeans realized that many African enslaved folk shared similar proportionate chubby to fat sizes that they considered desirable, specifically black women. So in a desperate attempt to essentially perpetuate racial inferiority, they decided to just switch up the whole narrative and use science to back it up. This is what I mean when I say it's never been about health. Also, I'm reading this book called Fearing the Black Body, where Sabrina Strings goes into detail about this, using multiple historical references. It's really good. I beg, please stop with the fat phobia.
What's something that you do that you're pretty sure really pisses off thin people?
So the thing that I do is not necessarily a fat person thing. It can be done by any person. And in fact, I think more people should try it just to see what happens. And some people may think I'm a dick for this, but I do not like to engage in the prescribed back and forth that one usually has with someone who has lost weight, or is trying to lose weight, or is on a diet and is telling you about it. Especially when that person is clearly expecting praise from me. I like to subvert that expectation. So if I'm alone with this person, I might just say, okay. And if I'm in a group with that person, I just won't participate in the in the praise ritual of someone pursuing weight loss. It definitely confuses people. I don't know if it makes them angry.
Okay, wait, keep up with this. The thin people that hate fat people don't hate fat people because they're fat. They hate them because every time they see a fat person that is simultaneously happy, it invalidates their entire experience of being thin and being afraid of being fat.
Commercialization and whitewashing of the body positivity movement is the worst thing that ever happened. This is going to be a long one, so sit down. So the body positivity / fat liberation movement emerged from the Black LGBT community of the late 60s, early 70s. It existed on the fringes of mainstream / white society and culture for many years because in white culture, fat equals bad. Now in brown and black cultures, there's a little bit of ambiguity here and there. I could talk about that in another video if you want me to. However, what we saw was fashion companies after the extremely toxic early 2000s, which I could talk about all day if you guys want me to, basically said, hey, you know what? I see you fat girls are buying clothes and I see you willing to pay a premium for those clothing. So I'm going to get into the plus size fashion industry. However, what they did was they said, I'm only going to look at fat bodies I'm attracted to or I think other cisgender white people will be interested in. You know what those bodies are? Hourglass, pear-shaped, size 10 to 14 white or white adjacent bodies. Essentially, what happened was you're only looking at fat people through the lens of cisgender thin white people that run fashion because fashion thrives on two things, babies, thinness and whiteness. So instead of the body positivity movement reflecting the hordes of fat, black, brown, white people, women, girls, boys, they, them, who come in a variety of shapes and sizes, hues, genders, ethnicities, it is now fully represented by people like Ashley Graham, a cisgendered size 12 or 14 white woman who is raking in millions of dollars at the expense of the body positivity movement. So what body positivity and plus size fashion have molded together to do is basically mirror the regular straight size fashion industry, creating another generation of fat girls who hate themselves, have a whole new host of insecurities for a totally different reason. I've said it before and I'll say it again. Thin white people and the fashion industry have ruined body positivity.